Okay, we're back. Obviously we're a bit late, so we're going to try to compensate that. We'll jump straight into the next session. We've been speaking a lot about Portugal, competitiveness at country level, etc. We're going to proceed with a session with 3 specific business cases, through which I believe that everything or most of what we've said so far is going to be really clearly demonstrated. 3 cases of totally different business activity, complexity, but all of globally recognized excellence. So we're very glad to have António Veiga from Vodafone with us, Pedro Martins from Nokia, and of course João Cardoso from Teleperformance. We're going to have somewhere around 12 minutes presentation, each of them, and then we're going to invite them to talk to us and answer a couple questions you may throw from your seats. So please, António Veiga.
So good morning, and thank you for the invitation for being here and present Vodafone experience on this area, on the nearshoring area. I did brought a few slides. The time is very limited. Guilherme, let's try to fill the time that we have available. First, starting to share some ideas about why Portugal, but most of the ideas were already shared here during the morning on the presentations that were already done. And then I will share with you 3 examples that we decided to brought here. First, the call center experience. It is not a nearshoring experience, it's an outsourcing experience. The Atlantic Network Operations Center that we called ANOC, that's the internal name, and talk about the company, an external company that is self-focused, that is a joint venture between Vodafone and Novabase. So why Portugal? Most of the items that are here on these slides were already present. I will pass it here very rapidly. So starting from education, it is true that we have top IT, engineering and management universities. We have a very good track record of implementation of shared service centers. In terms of language, we have the ability to speak other languages than Portuguese, so English, French, Spanish and many others. And it is also true that in terms of cost, we are very competitive when compared with other countries inside of European Union. One important point is that telecommunication, and this is also referred here on the previous presentation, is that we have an excellent, modern and very reliable mobile and fixed network, I have to say, especially Vodafone. But this is a very key enabler for nearshoring, and it was also comment on the previous presentation. In terms of labor, it was said on previous presentation also that in terms of labor on the last years, a lot of improvements were made in order to guarantee that we have a more open and flexible market. Office, we have some spaces yet here in Lisbon and mainly in Oporto, so very modern spaces and with a very competitive prices. In terms of leading capabilities, we have many non-Portuguese here with higher capabilities in Portugal, but we have also some Portuguese that started here and then moved to international positions on big companies. I did brought here some examples. The first one is António Coimbra, who was our previous CEO, that today is the CEO of Vodafone Spain, and also a member of Vodafone Group. The next 2 examples are from the banking, from the finance sector, 2 Portuguese. Politics are very known. José Neves is the CEO of Farfetch, which is a very known Portuguese company, and it is spread all around the world. But there is some space here on the slide. I don't know if you remember some very known Portuguese that started here in Portugal and then are working outside of Portugal. Do you remember anyone?
Well, no, CR7.
CR7. The other one, I only have space for 2. So the other one is? Mourinho. So the first one is a special one, José Mourinho. I believe he's still the Chelsea trainer, but I don't know if it is going to be tomorrow. And the other one is Cristiano Ronaldo. This is just an example of people that started here and moved to international positions or working outside of Portugal. Related to the case studies, so call center experience that I am responsible inside of Vodafone here Portugal. So our call center is a key call center reference inside Vodafone Group for many reasons, and some are included on this slide. We use a full outsourcing model, which is, for us, it is very important, with international partners, so with Teleperformance, with Randstad, but also with national partners, with RH+, and SIBS. And when we compared among Vodafone Group operators and when we compared with other operators here in Portugal, we compared very well on the most important KPIs that are very important in terms of call center. I have to highlight the technology, and technology was commented on detail on the previous presentation, because it is very common on Vodafone Group that we are invited to implement new technologies from the first wave as a leading OpCo. And sometimes, and this is also very often, local implementation of solutions here in Portugal are then cloned to other countries where Vodafone is established. The second experience that I have here to share with you is a big name, Atlantic Network Operations Center. Remember some names of NASA or something like that. But it started in 2012 as a shared service center for Portugal, Spain, United Kingdom, and Ireland. This was a bid among the Vodafone Group countries here in Europe, and Portugal was one of the 2 countries selected to host this activity. We have today more than 200 employees with university and technical training. All of them speak Portuguese, which is normal. All of them speak English, which it is not normal, but it was mandatory for the recruitment. And 40% speak Spanish. The key decision factors to Portugal to be chosen were the know-how that we had on this area, because since 91 when we implemented this operation, and there is one person on this room that started this role in Vodafone, so thank you for coming here. We had the know-how to do this internally, so this was a very important factor. The activity is done inside of our Vodafone headquarters and with the network capabilities that we have. We have the skills and the recruitment skills necessary to do the work over here. And the main tasks that are done by the Atlantic Network Operations Center are the normal tasks from a network operations center, so the network monitoring, performance, first line support, fault, second line. This doesn't happen as a big bang. It was a phase approach, country by country and activity by activity, that led to the actual scenario where we are responsible for these activities for these countries. So today we monitor the network for more than 40 million customers, covering mobile on different technologies and also on fixed, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from Lisbon, and we do monitor more than 350,000 cells. The last example that I brought here is a company that is a joint venture between Vodafone Portugal and Novabase. It was founded in 2000 as a partnership between Novabase, that is a big technology company here in Portugal, and that works also for other countries. And that partnership with Vodafone did lead that today Cellfocus has more than 300 experienced consultants. Cellfocus is a specialist on provider of IT transformation and other areas. The total revenue on last year was 42 million euros. They provide products and services on CRM, so customer relationship management, order management, integration, online, and many other areas that I didn't have space to put here on this slide. The headquarters is here in Lisbon, very close to the headquarters of Vodafone Portugal on the other side of the street. They have also a big office in Oporto, and I know they are searching for other locations. The majority of the consultants that work for Cellfocus work on the major office that they have here in Lisbon and Oporto, but a few still work on the customer premises. The footprint, it is very important, because initially Cellfocus began to work only to Vodafone here in Portugal as the main project. That was the main idea. But then they spread very rapidly to work to other Vodafone entities, Vodafone countries, namely here in Europe, but also on Africa. But Cellfocus still works to other customers besides Vodafone companies. And this was the presentation I brought here. I'm available to answer any questions that you may have at the end of the whole presentations. So I will pass to Pedro.
So good morning all. Nokia. Okay, good morning again. So I am here to present to you the Nokia Network Portugal case study. What is this about? This is simply about a service center that provides services to the telecommunication operators in Europe, Latin America and North America. So I'm going to tell you the story, how it happened, why Portugal was chosen, and where the center stands today. Just as a side notice, I'm not heading the center, not even I'm working in the same business unit as we say. But I'm part of Portugal team, so I have the pleasure to present it. So how it starts. So let me say, we all in Nokia, we remember very well November 2011. In November 2011, there was a company in that time called Nokia Siemens Networks, today only Nokia Networks, and we announced a major restructuring or transformation. We intend to save 1 billion operating expenses plus production costs till the end of 2013. So this was a huge transformation program that, by the way, was quite successful. We did it. That's why Nokia today is a successful company, because we don't have mobile phones anymore, as you know. They were sold to Microsoft. So one of the levers of this huge transformation program was changing the delivery model, basically in 2 dimensions. We had 20% of the services provided remotely. The target was to reach at least by end 2013, 50%, 50. The second one was the consolidation of the number of centers that we have. This was the second dimension, basically in 2 centers. So what was the situation in a nutshell? So we have service centers, so Nokia had service centers in more than 25 countries, and by the way, more than 44 centers. Only in Europe, North America, and South America, Nokia had 14 locations. That went from São Paulo, Dallas, Mexico City, Lisbon, of course, was one of the centers that was in place, Germany, Norway, UK, so it was completely dispersed. So the target of the program, as I mentioned, was to have only 2 service centers worldwide, one serving Asia Pacific and Africa, and the other one serving the Western world. For Asia Pacific and Africa, the decision was more or less clear. You mentioned, so we have always China and India. It was India, because I can tell you a very nice story. I don't know, maybe in 2010, I was very happy because we have done a fantastic project in Spain where we put on service, I don't remember, maybe 10,000 radio and sites on air with swaps and so on. And then I was presented to my colleagues, and there was a colleague sitting in the end of the room from India, and he told me, "Pedro, how long did you did it?" 9 months. It was fantastic. I said, "Oh, we did it in 1 day." So you will see the dimension and the scale we are talking about. So coming to the subject, so for Europe, North America, and South America, There was a pre-selection. You can see the countries there: Mexico, Portugal, Romania. Romania is always present when we talk about remote service for telecommunication services, and of course Poland, which is one of the strongest players in the nearshoring, as it was previous means. And in the end of the four, only one would remain. The pre-selection was cost-based, and cost-based based only in the salary. We have what we call job grades, and they compare the available sort of engineer and make a simple comparison on these ones. Of course, the big ones were out, the most expensive ones. What were the key decision factors why Lisbon was selected? Of course, first time to start operations. Don't forget, we needed 1 billion till the end of 2013, right? Then the availability of engineering resources, competitive full loaded costs. When we talk about, because the what we load in our projects as a company, it's not the salary of the engineer, it's what we call full loaded costs, which has everything in, IT, real estate, with everything that we need to provide our operations. I have to say salary related costs are maybe ranked between 50 to 60% of the full loaded costs. And one of the factors most important is the productivity that can balance, because if you have 70% productivity compared with a country with 90%, so you can see the difference of the people who need to do the same task. So multi-technology, multi-vendor know-how, of course, office space and connectivity, because this is a center that had to run 24 times 7 and cannot stop. And has to be connected to the Nokia companies and to the end customers. So while Lisbon won, okay, we made a commitment to ramp up back in 2012 1,000 engineers in 9 months. And there we were very, let me say, the country helped a lot, because there are lots of partnerships with universities that we also had in place. But there is also a Portuguese Instituto de Emprego e Formação Profissional that helped us a lot in recruiting and also a sort of recruiting companies. And we remember Portugal back in 2012, you know what this means for everyone that wants to have, let's say, a little bit more hope than what we had in that time. So cost differentiation, we focus in the productivity of the Portuguese engineers. This was known in the company, so we were from 0 to 100, always above 90%, while the others were around 75, 80%. And this is measured systematically in the company. And all no salary-related costs, which means this was not it has to be a low-cost center, but not based in low salaries, right? So all the other components are the fundamental ones. Then we reuse the competence that we had in the site of Lisbon. I remember I was heading the region, and in Portugal we had 100 engineers, let's say, as a number, okay? So 80 of these 180% were moved to the center to assure the proper ramp up. And then the commitment to build on time the office without stop. And this, I have to say, we are very competitive in telecommunications. We have fantastic telecommunications. But I have to say the cost basis, what we receive is acceptable. It's not fantastic, but it is acceptable, and it's very competitive compared with other countries. So we won. The center was located in Lisbon, and what happened till today, I have to say there are two main levers. One is delivery on commitments. The second one, we base our center in innovation. Because it's not because you do a decision of near shore. Nowadays you can change the location very easily if you don't bring it a differentiation factor. And for us was the innovation. So okay, we were on time. Real estate made a fantastic work. We are in operation since 2012, and we never have an outage. We never leave a customer unserved because of a power outage or a communication outage. We bring 1,000 engineers on board in 9 months. Today we are more than 1,500 in this center. And then we kept the culture of strict cost control and cost improvement, which is fundamental to achieve the basis of the competitiveness of the center. And then, again, excellent cooperation with the universities. And I mean this because the telecommunication market is a very hectic and fast-changing market. So new technologies, things happen very, very fast. So one of the factors of the full loaded cost is, of course, fundamentally is the training. universities aligned with the needs of the companies is something that we learn to do here in Portugal. About innovation, I have to say this is a service center. What we need is automation. So main focus is automation to increase productivity and compensate maybe our difference in the salary base when compared with Romania or Mexico City. So preemptive reaction, again, this is a very dynamic market, not only in technology, but customers are merging, new customers are appearing, projects appear very fast. You cannot be reactive. If you are reactive, you will not deliver. So preemptive reaction. And then continuous competence increase. Why? There has no much differentiation also in this market, let's be honest, right? Every telecommunications operator offers more or less the same services with different quality. Maybe the differentiation can be quality then. And in our case is of course to go to high-end services and make there the difference for the center. I think I just want to show now, we call it Global Service Delivery Center. So there are two, GDC Portugal, GDC in India. It's a very complex environment because they have to deal not only with customers, they need to deal with what we call our regional offices, which means salespeople, service guys in the countries, financial guys. So it's a very difficult environment. And the last, these are the customers. You know, some of these brands that you can see are served from this center. Some of the top ones, like Vodafone, T-Mobile, so Deutsche Telekom, and all over that are served from this center. So that's what I would like. I had the pleasure to present. And now,
So, good morning. First of all, I'd like to thank APDC and Portugal Outsourcing. Of course, number one, for promoting outsourcing out of Portugal, of course. And then, of course, also for inviting me for being here today. So, about teleperformance. Teleperformance is today the largest worldwide leader in customer experience management. We are present in 62 different countries with 182,000 employees. And in Portugal, we have today 7 sites. We are providing customer experience management to a wide range of brands. I had already the opportunity here today to meet my friends from Vodafone, from NOS, from Vortal, and these are some of the great companies that we work for in Portugal. These are companies that are extremely focused in providing outstanding customer experience, and we are very proud of partnering with them and with many others. Today, we are a 100 million euro company in Portugal. We have been founded in '94 as part of Altitude Software, so this is also part of the history of IT in Portugal, I believe. I was one of the founders of Altitude Software also, so I've been connected with contact centers since the very beginning. Now, about the story of Teleperformance Portugal. Because there are different ways that we can think about investment in Portugal, and we've seen one with Nokia, where there was this plan, this evaluation of different countries, where to invest and so on. Well, Teleperformance Portugal is really a different situation, so I'd like to show you how we've been growing during the past 12 years. So, back 12 years ago, I was a little bit puzzled with two things. One thing is the incredible power that the contact center has. We all have problems. We are accessing our internet services. We don't know how to access. We have a big problem. We can connect. And these people that are on the other side of the line, they can really make our life easier. So they can deliver a lot of value. Sometimes we are not very happy with the service that is provided, maybe because they were not able to solve our problem. But if they are able to solve our problem, they are delivering an incredible value. So this is the first thing. The second thing that really puzzled me is that at the time people would say, well, it's the old, let's put it this way, low value crap. So this is a low value sector. But for me, it didn't make sense, because in the end, we know that consumers, they have a big problem, and if there is someone that is able to solve this problem, we are going to deliver a huge value to this consumer. So actually, there is the potential to create a lot of value. And the third one was that there are pretty complex things that we can do in contact centers, providing customer experience management and technical support and supporting consumers, namely if we are going to do it in several different languages. Because then, imagine, you can serve a company out of one location, serving consumers from all over Europe. So the potential to create value was really outstanding. So we have invested in that. Personally, I believed very much in this idea, so I've bought at the time a part of this company, and we've started this long run. And as you can see, this has been quite a steady growth. An aggressive growth, so we've been growing 32% per year, but you can see it was not like we've been steady for 2 or 3 years and then we had the big growth. Every year we've been growing between 30 and 40%. And this means that every year, basically, we've been able to get a lot of new clients. That's what matters. In bringing clients, it means that we are delivering a good service, that we are creating a lot of value. And this is really what has allowed us to have not only very good growth, getting from 3 million. Every year we have what we call the strategy meeting, and we've been doing this even when we were a 3 million euro company, we were doing this. And so every year we have this strategic meeting, and in 2010 we had a meeting in Hotel Mirage in Cascais. And so we were at, you can see, 32 million euros, and we were saying, wow, we've been growing like 30-40% per year. So imagine that we can do this for some years more. In 2015, we would be a 100 million euros company. We could not even believe that. Everybody make a big laugh. But in the end, we identified the opportunity to grow a lot with a lot of international brands, and today we are here, and we see, to be honest, more opportunities today than we ever had in the past. We are serving clients, customers in 28 different languages. You can see more than 800 colleagues of mine today in the companies supporting consumers in French, close to 500 colleagues of mine supporting consumers in German, Spanish, Italian, English, Dutch. Today we are a 5,000 people company, and more than 2,000 people in our company are supporting consumers all over Europe in all these different languages. And just yesterday, and we are receiving visits every day from very, very well-known brands, and yesterday we were getting a visit from one of the world's largest retailers. And so we had this meeting previous to the visit to the center, and there is always some kind of skepticism about what we were doing. And the person was telling me, yeah, you know, there are a lot of companies that say that support 20 languages, they support 25 languages, but then we visit the campuses and we are going to see that most of the people are speaking local language, and then you have 1 or 2 people per different language. And then we visited the site, and the guy was saying, wow, this is like the United Nations. You have people really from all over the world, and this is really part of the attractiveness of the company today, is that people are coming and they are going to work with people from all over the world. So this is the range of different languages that we are serving. Over these years, of course, we needed space. And this was a key advantage for us, was the ability to get space, very quality space. And this was also part of the message that we wanted to give to the market. This is an industry that's delivering a lot of value. So we are not going to work in the attic or in an old garage. We are going to have premium space. And that's what we've done. We have 32,000 square meters today in Portugal. And we have some of the best facilities in Portugal. So we are in Parque das Nações, looking ao cenário. We are now also in Edifício Marconi. We are looking also at the exhibition center in Expo, and this has allowed also to project an image of this industry, not only internally in Portugal, but also to our partners all over the world, that we can deliver high quality service out of Portugal, that we have passionate people that are willing, that they know that when they are going to receive one call from one customer, this call is probably going to be the only time that this customer is going to call for 6 months or 1 year. So you can imagine the huge responsibility that we have to ensure that in the end of the call, this customer is going to feel is a special customer. And this is the way to retain customers in the end. So we've done that. By the way, on top of 32,000 square meters of office space, we have also today 30,000 square meters of residential space where we are lodging a lot of colleagues that we have brought from all over Europe. That's another piece of the business that we have set up here in Portugal. We have a lot of amazing brands from all over the world, and here I've included brands where we are serving different countries other than Portugal. And you can see from the quotes from Symantec that we are serving here, ATS Caterpillar, Expedia, one of the largest operations of Expedia in the world, Pearson, the former owner of Financial Times, eBay, Netflix. By the way, Netflix is about to launch their services in Portugal. We will have the honor to receive Mr. Reed Hastings in our center. And it's one of the first times that Reed Hastings is going to visit the contact center. And he has decided to visit the Portuguese contact center for the excellence of the service that we are being able to deliver out of Portugal. And you can see that if you read the quotes, basically people talk about two things. One thing is providing superior experience to consumers. And the other thing is knowledge. We are talking with consumers of these brands. We need to provide outstanding service, but we know another thing, is that, as we've heard already in the previous presentations, is that by talking with consumers, brands learn about markets, they learn about consumers, and it's the way for them to improve and to innovate. And we have realized this, and so we've created internally the programs that allow us to learn from consumers and to translate that into continuous improvement in innovation. Also, we've been successful in being recognized as a quality, as an excellence provider of customer experience management. Number one, of course, is the fact that we are delivering this experience to consumers, and the caliber of this experience is really dependent on the passion that everybody has in the company. So we are, above all, a people company, and we have been compared against the best practices in Portugal and in the world. And for the past 6 years, we've been acknowledged by a Great Place to Work as one of the best companies to work for in Portugal. Several years already as the best company to work for in Portugal with more than 1,000 employees. This year is the number four company, best company to work for in Portugal with more than 250 employees. So we have been compared against banks, against IT companies, against consultancy firms. Last year, Revista Exame has considered Teleperformance Portugal as the best services company in Portugal. And they have compared, as you know, Revista Exame, they run this evaluation through their partners, Deloitte & Touche and Dun & Bradstreet, and they compare all the financials of these companies. So how much they are growing, how much they are exporting, how much value they are creating. And for us, it was even a big surprise, because to be included in these services area, it meant that we were compared not only against all the contact center BPO companies, we were compared against all the services companies in Portugal, against all the tourism industries in Portugal, tourism companies in Portugal. We have been compared against the IT companies, against the consultancy companies, and we have demonstrated that this industry has the ability to grow, to create value, to create employment, to export to the level of what is better done in Portugal. We, according to Dun & Bradstreet and Deloitte & Touche, we were the company that performed better against all these companies in all these different sectors. We've been considered also best contact center and customer experience management company by most of the organizations in Portugal that by the organizations in Portugal that make this evaluation, IFE and APCC, and also by Customer Contact Association, which is the largest association of contact centers in Europe. And last year, we've been also considered as the best contact center, the best customer service in EMEA by Contact Center World, which is the worldwide largest association of contact center professionals. So, how did we get here? I don't have a lot of time, but I would just like to give you a few words about some of the key elements of our strategy and where we have been focusing all these years long. So number one, clearly, being client-centric and being customer-centric. we want to deliver an outstanding experience. We want the customer in the end to say, wow, I'm a special customer for this company. That's what we want. Number two, we know that that's paramount. We need to deliver this experience. On the other hand, our partners, they are looking for someone that will bring them the knowledge about the consumers. And they are bringing them the thought leadership to allow them to keep on front of their own competitors. So we've created an innovation program that we call Continuous Improvement in Innovation, CI2, that ensures that we translate what we learn from consumers to our partners, and we've committed to each one of our partners to come every quarter with one business plan that will be a game changer for them. And we are delivering on that. We are today implementing 100. We have today more than 100 clients. We are today implementing more than 100 innovation and improvement programs with our partners. So this is what we are delivering to the outside, and then how to do it. Number one, passion and commitment of the people. So being a people company, meaning to have outstanding first-line management, immediate leadership of the people inside of the company. This is paramount. And to express that on a continuous basis, and for people to realize that they are part of an organization where everyone and each one counts. And another key element of this industry that is changing, and we know it's a huge opportunity for Portugal, is security, data security, and data privacy. We are handling with the data of all these consumers from all these different companies, so we are extremely careful in terms of security. So these four elements were really paramount in our strategy during these years, and we always saw Portugal as a fantastic country to deliver on these. So in terms of being client-centric and partner-centric, we are a country that is devoted, that has a long tradition in terms of tourism, in terms of servicing. We are also a country that has a tradition in terms of entrepreneurship, and this is very critical in succeeding as a client-centric and customer-centric company. Thought leadership against the people, again the people. We need people that are involved, that learn and that listen to consumers and that can translate what they learn into continuous improvement and innovation. So really the people was the fundamental factor of allowing us to be successful in this extremely competitive market. So again, the people, and I would say that Portugal is an outstanding country to do business, mostly because of the caliber of the training and the caliber of the talent that we have in this country. And if I have to say something, I would say that Portugal can improve also in its, we've done a lot in terms of attracting also talent from other countries. That's a very important thing. Portugal has outstanding conditions to attract talent from other countries. We have relocated more than 2,000 people already from other countries to Portugal. And if there is one thing that we can improve is maybe, and we talk a lot about allowing our brains to go abroad, is also to leverage the opportunity that there is today in Northern Africa. There are a lot of brilliant people there that are excellent in managing huge contact center operations. Unfortunately for us, it's very difficult today to bring them because of the difficulty in getting a visa term. So we know the challenge it is to bring people to Portugal if they are not within the European Union. We know the reasons why, but we need also to be a little bit smart and realize that today there are people with a huge potential in these countries with an incredible experience in managing huge operations, and we need to leverage also this opportunity. So thank you very much.